Okay, thanks for the second chance to speak to the Climate Assembly. Now, it's fair to say that oil and gas presents Scotland with some of the most challenging aspects of a just transition. And the dilemma is that the sector has made a huge contribution to Scotland's economy over the last few decades. It's provided well-paid jobs. But on the other hand, the oil and gas fields are mature and they were already in decline even before the COVID crisis. To reach net zero in Scotland, the UK and globally, the sector is going to need to decline. We don't need to turn the taps off immediately, but in the medium and long term, demand will need to go down. And that's the policy dilemma. Official UK oil and gas policy is to maximise economic recovery from the North Sea, but this sits a bit uncomfortably with the net zero targets for 2045 in Scotland and 2050 in the UK. The industry aims to make its North Sea operations net zero by 2050, but that doesn't account for all the emissions when oil and gas is burnt by consumers. So these are the big issues. Do you continue to invest in squeezing the last molecules out of the North Sea, given the climate emergency? And also, does the UK continue to provide export finance to help out our oil and gas supply chain in global markets? Now, what does it mean for workers? Now, oil and gas is a real up and down industry. When the price is up, people are taken on. When the price is down, they're laid off. And this has been the experience of people working in the industry. And frankly, they don't like it that much. Stable work would be better, and maybe working in a low carbon industries could provide that opportunity. But to flag also, the COVID crisis has dealt the industry a real blow. Demand has gone down and so have prices. I'm recording this on Tuesday and I just checked the price of North Sea crude oil is $55 a barrel, but it fell as low as $20 a barrel last April, but it was as high as $100 a barrel in 2018. Generally, expectations are that the sector is going to decline more quickly than previously expected. And this has big implications, for example, for the economy in Aberdeen and the North East, which raises the question then, can the skills be used to extract North Sea oil and gas be transferred to other sectors? Well, actually, the answer to that is yes, in principle. Scotland and the UK are world leading in terms of offshore operations, and many of the skills needed for offshore oil and gas platforms can be redeployed for offshore renewables, notably wind. And there are some oil companies like Norway's Statoil that have rebranded themselves as Equinor to signal a change of direction towards renewables. But all this won't happen by itself. It needs skills development and retraining. And it needs government to support a strong manufacturing base in Scotland so that jobs don't move overseas. And this has unfortunately already happened to some extent. And it needs investment in ports and harbours. But there are other skills in the industry that can be transferred in the longer term. The geological skills of the industry would be needed to develop and maintain offshore carbon storage in abandoned oil and gas fields. And the refining end of the industry has the skills needed to develop hydrogen production and distribution. But this is also something that would need government support. But there's a final dilemma. The zero carbon economy jobs may emerge only after oil and gas jobs have gone. And that's why the Just Transition Commission in its Green Recovery report last July recommended a large-scale North Sea decommissioning programme so that the industry can get on with plugging old wells, maintaining jobs and skills, and positioning all the infrastructure and kit out in the North Sea for a zero carbon future. Now, a lot of technical skills are needed to make this all happen, but it's not just a technical question. I think for oil in Scotland, oil and gas is also a moral dilemma. And I hope the Climate Assembly can really help everyone out with the more moral aspects of the question.